Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, and today I'll be reading a multi-character ex-listener by me, so let's get into it. Cyno. Cyno was prepared to deal with any circumstances like fighting people, killing someone, and traveling just to get an artifact, but certainly not this. The two of you are going to a date, and you were trying on skirts in a mall. Thankfully you were equipped, having gone there with shorts and a tank top, to be able to try on as many things without being, uncomfortable by it. And this is what happened. Basically, as you were putting on that skirt and going to show it to Cyno, it fell right off. And he just stared there at the ground, blushing brightly, while he blushed as well, closing his eyes and turning around. You can go change, he said, voice slightly strained. I didn't see anything. He lied through his teeth, and honestly didn't know whether to laugh or cry, because this was beyond embarrassing. Thankfully, though, you quickly went back and changed back into your shorts. Oh, you hoped he would forget this. Child! Child would be so happy for the sight. He's such a whore. And I'm actually being correct here. I mean, he doesn't think you should judge him, but I totally think you should. To think about it, this skirt was a little bit bigger than you thought, and you trusted it a little bit too much. So when you went to show it off to him after getting it, it just kind of fell. And he stared at you, his eyes about to jump from their place. And you just wanted to throw it at him. So you did, running back to your room as he laughed at you, telling you that you looked way more beautiful with the skirt off anyway. Oh, you really wanted to lock him up sometimes. What a pervert. Seriously, child, where are your manners? If you had any, you're sure they evaporated. But surely you can do better than that. Instead of, being an absolute whore and making sure that you never forget this. He probably teased you about it like 10 times that day, and even more throughout the week. You were never going to hear the end of it, were you? Albedo. Albedo would find it quite funny, to be honest, but he will definitely stare before turning away to just give you some privacy and sense of dignity too. He didn't know why it fell. There was no reason for the skirt to fall off. You were just going to a meeting with him. It was only him though, so it was quite alright, since nobody else was there, and thankfully he had some spare clothes in the lab. And when it actually fell off, he was staring for a long time until you just looked at him, arms crossed. And then he laughed quietly, looking away and giving you a quiet apology. But you knew that it was too late now. You just sighed deeply, exhausted, and decided to change. This was going to be a conversation for later, and just as how he taught you how to be a good researcher, you were going to teach him on how to actually be respectful. Because this was a lesson way overdue, and you had to be taught it right now. Venti. Oh, Venti was even more exhausting than Albedo, perhaps even more than Childe. But I think he and Childe have to fight for the title, because the two of them are quite a lot to deal with sometimes. You had just gotten a new skirt. It was a gift from Venti, and at one point, after all of this happened, you wondered if it was planned for him. And that's exactly what was going on. He got a little bit too big, hoping that you look funny in it, or even better, that it will fall off. And guess what? His plan just worked and you were fooled. Because as you went to show him, the skirt fell off your waist. And there you were, standing in front of him, Well, he just teased you, giving you a smirk and winking at you. Hey, Ryan, do you want to spend the rest of the evening without the skirt on? Instead of doing just that, you punched him, throwing a pillow over him and storming back to your room, telling him that he was going to be really sorry after you're done with this. I'll tell you what, he wasn't. He totally believes in what he did, by the way. Scaramouche. Scaramouche would probably be so embarrassed and flustered. He's just very innocent and not used to things like this. So please, bear with him. The time this happens is actually when he comes home. They're wearing this new skirt you got, and you were struggling to keep it on. But it was too pretty and it was too late to actually return it. Damn you, you could have checked it earlier. But, anyways, now you're gonna have to put up with it. And just as Scaramouche came on, it fell off, and he was staring, frozen in place, shocked, as a bright blush loomed onto his face, and yours as well. The two of you were just staring at one another before you just looked to the ground, telling him that you'll go quickly, and he nodded. He wasn't actually able to process this, so when you came back, it was sort of still in the same place. And you just had to give him a pick on the cheek and tell him there was nothing to worry about and he didn't see anything wrong or something. So he nodded to that too. He was still overwhelmed. Poor boy was startled by that. It wasn't that he looked bad. He was just very, very shy all the time. So this was going to be something memorable for sure. And to be honest, it was quite funny and drowned out your embarrassment. Tighnari? Oh, I may have a bias towards them sometimes, but truly, he's really good at dealing with things and trying to mask off his shock. So, that's why when your skirt falls off, he's quickly coming to your aid to help it stay on, muffling a little giggle, blushing a little, and honestly, so were you. He then helped you to your room, telling you that you can go change, and quickly turned around, closing the door. Honestly, he was so nice, and adorable too. It made butterflies flutter in your stomach, and you felt so lucky to have someone like Tighnari by your side.